I'm a game designer, and I'm trying to make my art look less like this, and more like this. So if that sounds interesting, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and let's get into it. Alrighty everyone, class is now in session. Today, we will be learning how to recreate Super Saiyan Goku in 3D. Now, I don't know who to put me in the teacher role, because I don't know what the
flip
I'm doing. But we're just going to roll with it, okay? Cool. Step 1, we need to find a 3D model to use. Alright, so we're going to go to Sketchfab, search up Goku, and make sure we tick downloadable. And now we have so many options to pick from. Now, you can pick any model you really want, but I decided to go with this one because it looks pretty good and it also has a Super Saiyan version, which is going to be very crucial in the later parts of the project. So shout out this guy for putting it on Sketchfab. Okay, step 2, we now need to try and rig Goku in Blender. Guys, I think my Goku's broken. Okay, there we go, it's working now. But before we start rigging though, I want to try and make our Goku look a bit more like he's from the Namek Saga. So let me see if I can do something about that real quick. Alright, we're looking pretty good. I'm very happy with how this is looking now. But I'll be honest, this took way longer than it should have. I spent forever trying to match up his biceps and whatnot, but hey, it's all about the process, isn't it? Alright, let's rig this thing. We're going to be using mixer mode for the rigging. Now, I feel like the legs are going to be a little messed up because there's a lot of overlap there, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. As it's loading the rig, I can already tell the chest is sort of messed up, but that's a really easy fix. We just have to flip the normals on that. Wow, it actually looks pretty good. I'm surprised at how good it is. What about... yeah, the legs are pretty dang messed up. That's fine though, we're just gonna have to do that manually. Let's try getting it into Blender and see what we can do from there. There we go, he's in Blender now, but he doesn't have any of his textures. That's weird. Let me see if I can't fix that real fast. That looks better. I also removed his wristbands and a little bit of his belt because I don't want them to be weight painted. I want to try and add them later as accessories. But now we should be able to go pose mode and reset the pose so he's back to a T-pose. Alright, I'm going to spend a bunch of time now trying to just clean up the model, make sure the animation and rigging works well, so I'll get back to you once everything's looking good.
5 hours later.
That took so long, man. The pants were so entangled with each other and it just took forever to try and separate them. For the next video, I am making double sure to pick a model where the pants are not overlapping. But I have to say, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I also added a control rig as well so I can better animate it, which I thought was pretty neat. Okay, almost to step 3. The last thing we gotta do is try and add some blend shapes to his face. First thing we're gonna do is add our first shape key. This is gonna be our default one. Then we'll create a second one. This is going to be the one we're editing, so I'm gonna call it Angry. After that, we've gone into edit mode, and it's really just a bunch of trial and error here. It's pretty much just going in, grabbing vertices, moving them around. You can see here I had to go into the mouth because the tongue had some weird gums around it that weren't two-sided. So I had to go there and fix that real fast. But after that, we're back to the mouth. It really is just a lot of clicking, dragging, and hoping that it looks good, really. I'm pretty happy with the final shape that we got, but it could definitely be better. After fiddling with the mouth a little bit more, you can see that I go to the eyebrows now. And I did spend a decent amount of time trying to make the eyebrows look good, but I just couldn't get a shape that I ended up happy with, so I ended up just scrapping the eyes. Finally, here in the end, I do grab the teeth and I make them so they're actually touching, so it looks more like he's gritting his teeth and's angry. And there we go, that's the face animation done. Now, I still need to animate the Super Saiyan face and also need to figure out how to actually like attach that to the body and it like replaces the base form head, but I think I'll do that off camera because I think it's not going to be super interesting. But with that said, we can finally move on to the animating. Step 3, baby! Let's get animating. In preparation for the step, I've gone and watched the original scene where Goku first turns into a Super Saiyan, and I've also looked at how some of the games adapt that scene so I can really get an idea of how I want the entire thing to look, really. So to prepare, I've made a little storyboard so I know exactly how I want everything to look. So for the first shot, we're gonna have him like being really angry and he's like just about to power up and go Super Saiyan. I'm gonna make this little yellow thing like fly across the screen. It's actually from Budokai 1, the game, and I thought it looked really cool. So we're gonna add that to the first scene. And then the next scene is him going to be powering up and we're going to add an impact frame, and I'm so excited to do that. I think it's going to look really cool if I can do it right. So yeah, I'm really excited for that one. So he's going to power up, he's going to have the aura around him and everything. Then after that, we're going to have like an overhead shot of him powering up. There's going to be a bunch of effects around him, hopefully. And then I think as he's powering up, big like bright light's going to shine out from him and like cover the screen. And then we can go to the final shot, which is like his iconic pose, like to stand with his back standing back. You know, it's just so iconic. So I think that is going to be the plan. So I'm back in Blender and I'm in pose mode right now, and I'm going to start working on animating this first shot, and I will get back once I have something that I think is worth sharing. So I've done a bit of work on the animation now, and I have to say one thing I've realized while doing the animation was that Mixamo sort of didn't rig the hands very well, and I didn't notice that until I put on the control rig. So I don't think I can actually go back and change that, so that sort of really sucks, but it's something I've learned now, so I can avoid that in the future. But if we just select all the bones here, press H to hide them, we can get a good look at the animation, and I think it looks pretty alright, to be honest. I'm actually very happy with that now that I'm looking at it. So we're gonna put this into Unreal Engine now to see if everything successfully gets imported. Oh my god, he's in! He actually looks so good! I can't believe that finally worked. I actually kept running into a problem where it wouldn't import properly. It said there were too many root bones, and I managed to fix that by clicking only export deform bones in the export options for Blender, and that seemed to work a treat. So yeah, I'm going to go finish the rest of these animations, and then we can finally start getting to the fun bit, which is actually adding some of the VFX. I am so excited for that. An amount of time has now passed, but I am finally done with all the animations. Let's give a little showcase of them real quick. We have just like the neutral angry stance for the very first shot of him just getting mad. Then we have the screaming shot of him like powering up, ready for the transformation. That's going to be used also for the overhead shot, so we get the big bird's eye view. And then finally we have his badass pose for the final shot. I also added a new blend shape to the Super Saiyan model, so that way once he transforms we can get like a big scream out of him. And with that, I think we're finally ready to start constructing the final scene and adding some VFX. Alright, it's been a few days now, and yes, you heard me right, days. And I know what you're thinking, wow, you must have done so much work then, right? Yeah, no. I managed to get all the animations into place, so it's ready to add special effects, but that only took like an hour max. The real problem came with trying to get the models and animations into Unreal Engine. For some reason they just didn't want to work, and the blend shapes never wanted to work, the Super Saiyan model just couldn't import properly, and Unreal just kept crashing and crashing, and yeah, it was just a pain, but it's working now, and we've got everything ready, so at least there's a bright side. So the first thing we're going to add is the first half of the Super Saiyan aura. Now, I actually already have this made, so if you're interested, here's what the blueprint's looking like. And anyway, so we're going to slap it on and see if it looks any good. Okay, not bad. Let's see how it might look if I make it bigger though. Oh, I actually don't know what one I like better. I think I'm leaning towards the bigger one. I think I might leave it like this and see how it's looking after we get some of the more effects in. So as you just saw, I've gone ahead and made the spiky aura in Photoshop. We've got frame 1 and then frame 2. Now, this effect is probably the one I'm most worried about, because I'm not following any sort of tutorial for this, so I don't know what I'm doing even more so than usual, and I could end up just looking absolutely ugly, horrible in Unreal Engine, but I guess the only way to find out is to actually do it. Alright, so I did it, and I gotta say, this looks way better than I could have imagined. It's so imposing, and it's just, oh, it looks so cool, man. And with that, the only other major thing left to add to our scene is the impact frame. And just like that, I've made the impact frame. Now, I couldn't really tell if the impact frame actually looked good or not, but I decided to add some camera shake to go along with the impact to really get some oomph, and I think it turned out alright. I also decided to get rid of this overhead shot in the scene. I just can't make it look that good, I don't think, at least with my current skill set, so I'm just going to get rid of it. So it's been quite a while since I finished the impact frame and the aura, and the clip still needed a few more things here and there that weren't super interesting or hard to make, so I just decided to just buckle down and get them done. And yeah, but the scene is now completely finished, it's ready to show. And before I show it off, I just wanted to say, if you watched all the way to the end, I really appreciate it. This video was a lot of fun to make, and I can't wait to get started on the next project. I'm fairly certain I know what scene I want to create next, but I would still love to hear some of your suggestions for what anime moment you want me to make next down in the comments. But without further ado, here is Super Saiyan Goku recreated in 3D. I hope you enjoy.